So hello and welcome everyone to the Virtual Solstice podcast number 7. It is I, your host, King Khada, and I'm here with Anna.
Hello. My name is Anna, also known as the Cuddly on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, but mostly Twitch.
And then also Eric as our guest.
Hello, my name is Eric. I go by Swift on the internet.
Yep. And do you have any specific handles, or can we just find you at Swift?
You can't find me anywhere. I'm not really on social media.
All right, cool. You can find us on our Discord server.
Yeah, exactly.
That's I think the closest one.
Don't laugh at me. I haven't been here for a week. I didn't know to introduce myself.
Just forgot the procedure. Gone too long. Oh.
Whatever
anyway.
Shall I do?
Yeah, welcome over to the episode. This week there's actually been a lot of interesting news that we kind of wanted to talk about. And I mean, I think I want to start off with, I guess, the biggest one that's going to be in probably a lot of people's radars, which is Bungie splitting from Activision.
So, I did hear about that.
Yes. It's just something that came, I guess, as a big surprise, because originally Bungie made a contract with Activision in 2010 that was a 10-year contract to be with them. So, Bungie signed up with Activision to be a big publisher. They wanted to have a partnership, so just in order to sell their games, kind of how usually developers do. And they did so by giving away the rights to Halo so that another company could continue when they did Halo 4. And then they did it so that they can launch their new IP with Destiny. Now, they did have their success with the first Destiny, and then the second one didn't get a lot of slack and it got better. However, nobody saw them splitting because it was just kind of hopefully Bungie splits from Activision, just like how people are saying right now with Anthem, which is what we'll get to in a topic later, from hoping that the people at BioWare will split from EA, because BioWare is one of the bigger developers for EA, and they're the ones that make good games for them to sell. And so if we have this separation, there's a lot of things that come into question, of which I'll open up to you guys, but first I just kind of want to give the info for those of you that didn't know, the details before it, and that's pretty much it for what happened on how. But it was sudden. Officially, the company's statements have been that it wasn't like they were talking and that they'll work towards a smooth transition. However, I do think it's probably have been with, tensions within the company, because we've seen a lot of the higher-ups leave. Both groups of the Activision, and especially from the developers, being we can't handle this, and leaving the studios. So I think it's a very interesting topic to talk about. So if you guys have any thoughts so far before I kind of go into more?
I think it's going to be pretty good, honestly, for the future of all of Bungie's games, because Activision's recent tendencies to add all sorts of microtransactions to things has been kind of a point of contention, especially with some of their more recent titles. Something with like Black Ops 4, for example. I know that got a lot of backlash for the amount of microtransactions that they had in there.
Yep.
I agree.
And even Black Ops 4, it's funny because it was, again, another example of it was acclaimed for a lot of people. Excuse me, a lot of people saying that it's been the best. Black Ops or just Call of Duty title in general. Since Modern Warfare 2, which is quite a lot of praise for that community, and even then you have all these microtransactions and the publisher kind of trying to ruin it by squeezing as much profit as possible. Which is quite sad, and I'll go into a little bit more detail into that. Anything else?
Not for me, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then to kind of keep going with it, what I want to talk about was more like, how this will potentially affect gamers and the industry, right? So having a high profile studio with the publisher leave like that, I definitely think it's going to be a good thing. We still have to wait and see what they do with it, because for it to matter and to make an example for other companies, other publishers, and for consumers themselves, I do think Bungie needs to show that by either continuing to improve Destiny 2 how they have been, and perhaps even with their it's not confirmed yet, but Bungie has always done trilogies, so we can kind of expect Destiny 3.
That is true.
And if they do like a lot of success with that in the coming probably 3 years, it'd be really great for like everyone involved to really like kind of show that yes, you could make like the most, I guess, money like as an industry by doing that, but like for the real like gamers that care and that want something really fun, or like the beauty of games and all kinds of aspects, they are being listened to, and that you can still have success, but also have a good reputation. I think in the long run, it's much better for you to have a good reputation and have a solid product that maybe doesn't sell as many, so that consistently over time you will keep making that profit, and you're gonna with future titles make more, because that's what I've seen happen with super giant games, as an example.
Right, exactly. With all those indie publishers and stuff, being able to build up a fan base, not having this sort of controversy with all the, again, with microtransactions mostly. It's
yeah, and there's even I was gonna use definitely Warframe as an example of an indie company that has tried to do run their pay model as fairly as possible by doing free to play, doing your microtransactions in games, but it's not pay to win, it's pay to progress faster. And if you don't want to do that, then there are also still cosmetics, of which half of them you can earn in game and half of them you can't, which is a very interesting way to do it, and constantly giving players like points off into their own currency. Digital Extremes has always been an example of doing something fairly, in my book. So yeah, I think the industry itself should only benefit. Consumers will probably, I feel benefits, but especially like actual gamers. But the one thing that you have to wonder too is like, if a big publisher, I guess, does not do that well, or potentially, let's say even, this is very highly likely to not happen, but say one of them closes down, kind of like Sears, we've seen a lot of retail stores close down. What will happen to that? Like, are we just gonna get, like, I guess, less games, or are people gonna care less because they're not seeing all the commercials and everything from it?
Right, that's a good point.
Who knows? It's also kind of a balance game that you have to play, but it's just been in such a bad reputation that, I guess, in that way, like, people want change. People want to see change.
I'm excited to see where they take it, honestly.
Yeah. And to kind of go more into that topic, we also have Anthem, which is the other big title. So Anthem has been in the works for quite some time now as well, because BioWare, like I was saying, were the developers for it, and they have done all like the BioShock games. That's what they're most famous for. And Anthem is basically a new looter shooter. similar to, in the vein of Warframes, in the vein of Destiny. It's been also compared a lot to Mass Effect Andromeda, in terms of like combat and everything. And yeah, it's really interesting to see this game and what's going to come out from it, because most of the press that I've seen for the game, like from actual like companies, is just mostly giving their like unbiased, like, here's the things you can expect in the game, here's like some missions, like some flying, some of the mechanics, what you're mostly going to be using. And I'll probably talk a bit about that because I personally am excited for the game. But the thing that like so many people are hating is that the publisher is EA. Now, it's been a meme in 2018 that EA is like one of the worst publishers out there. Probably number one, to be quite fair. Right. It's probably number one.
The whole Star Wars fiasco.
Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2 fiasco was pretty bad because people were also looking forward to that, and then they did all the loot crates and everything, and then multiplayer pretty much died, and it just went off to the face of the earth. Even to the point where all the stores like just had like a bunch of things sold out for like Black Friday, yet Star Wars Battlefront 2 was still the ones that were unsold. Yeah. So, with that being said, that's what people are scared of, and I kind of have to do kind of like a bullet point and separate everything in order to, kind of understand the point of view of everyone, because there's still plenty of people that are not saying much in the comments. They're just saying like, oh, I like this game looks good and I'm probably gonna get it. Is an effect of like, why do we buy games, right? So everyone will have a different genre that they like the best. It's gonna be natural, whatever type of gamer you are, but like essentially, it is supposed to be like an entertainment reason. A lot of people use it for like as an escape, kind of like a break from what you're doing and going into a whole other world and all that. And so with that, like, do you guys kind of do the same thing where like, yeah, you're playing a game to have fun, essentially, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. So then you just have to be like, okay, well, how much fun can I have from a game, right? So you have a lot of people that are hardcore gamers that are like, oh, I want like a grindy game, like an MMO, and that's your type of thing, because they don't have like maybe much money and they can invest like a lot of time into one thing that they can do over and over again. They don't mind the repetitiveness. Some people, maybe casual gamers that have a some kind of regular job or something like that, and they just want a short experience, so they play things like Greed and Journey and all that stuff, just to kind of have like, oh, that was like fun for 3 hours, and then move on. So then with that being said, I think of Anthem as an example that it's falling under the looter shooter genre. So looter shooters are kind of similar to MMOs in the way that you do have a very long grind, right?
Right, typically.
Oh yeah, go on.
No, I was just agreeing.
Yeah, because they do have a very long grind, and with that, you have a lot of time that you can spend in the game. Now, I say can as the most important part, because most of these looter shooters, Warframe after it came out of alpha, same with Destiny when it was released, they do have a story. They have a campaign. They have some multiplayer modes that you can play with people. So you could say that you can buy these games, play through the experience of like the campaign or whatever you want, have fun with it, enjoy the mechanics, and be like, this was a good experience. But I think everyone gets roped into that, like, oh, but I must keep grinding, I must get the best stuff, and I want to do it in the least amount possible so that I can feel satisfied with what I did, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I argue because a lot of people don't remember that grinding is a part of like progress. Most people, even if they say, oh, I don't like grinding, I don't like spending that much time in it, like, you do enjoy that progress. You get mad for how you do it. So the wrong way to do it is if they were to and this was very fair criticism with Destiny 2, where they initially released, here's the unfinished like first part like of the campaign, here's all this rest of the updates after you paid full price, for the rest of the content that we came up with later. So that I say, definitely fair criticism. You are screwing like the people that bought it first, whereas later, you have like some value packs, which is bundling everything together, which then new players, I guess, would have a better experience.
Yeah, true. You would think you would reward the earlier supporters by giving them the stuff for free.
Yeah, which that also would have been a great thing. Like, oh hey, you already bought the game earlier, then here's the updates for free, and then future people have to pay for the DLC. That would also be fine. There are various different ways that you can do that. To do that effect to the grind. But my point kind of goes back to, yes, there's different ways to do that. But when you're doing the grind, you don't have to get like the best stuff. Getting the best stuff and doing that should be if you are essentially enjoying the game, if you're enjoying the gameplay, if you're still enjoying what you're doing,
True.
Because I said every time, like I have as my two most played games, for example, in my career of being a gamer, I can say that, is League of Legends and Warframe. So League, for the longest time, and it still is, a very competitive game, was there for kind of that side, like being competitive, getting that satisfaction, getting through it, while the Warframe was kind of the opposite. It's where you calm down. Like, I can be brain dead, I can just kill a bunch of things and do it in style and do it like fun with variation of all these different guns. And while it is repetitive, I don't care because I'm enjoying that fun. If I wanted something more unique or a more niche experience, then you do it through other games and other types of genres of games.
Exactly. It's kind of like me with Splatoon. They've had one DLC drop so far, and I quickly hopped on that and bought it. If they were to release more, I'd probably get it, just because even though it's repetitive, it's what I enjoy and what I do most days. Yeah.
And so Sereno brings a point of saying that yes, and then I just don't want to pay $60 for 3 hours. And that's definitely a criticism and a fair point, because I'm the same way too. I want to do research just to know like what you're getting yourself like into. Greece, for example, I paid like $15 for it, because it's a 3 hour to 4 hour experience, with basically having a lot of pretty visuals. And for me, that was fine. For some people, it's like, no, I want to get like more value, so they wait for a sale, pick it up for $7, $5. That's also fine, because then you get your value for your experience, right?
True.
And yeah, and I just think a lot of people forget that. And there's definitely been a point that I read on some people defending and like why they're looking forward for Anthem is, okay, it is EA. Perhaps they will make microtransactions. That's kind of expected. How they'll do it is probably shitty. But right, I'm saying like I'm not gonna.
It's unfortunate that has to be the expected.
Yeah, and I'm saying like yes, that is unfortunate. I'm not like defending EA. What I am defending is the new IP and BioWare themselves, because just looking at the gameplay and looking at some of the mechanics and everything they've been unveiling on their own, broadcasts and from other news media, has been that it looks very fun. It looks different. It looks like taking a mix of Warframe and Destiny, where, okay, we still want it to be like fast paced, but like not quite as fast paced as Warframe. So it's kind of like a middle ground there. You're being more focused with your abilities and having abilities charge way faster and using guns as a secondary, which is also fair because Destiny, it's more about guns with like little abilities. In Warframe, it's both. You can do either. You can, But what were we gonna say, Eric? What were you gonna say?
Nothing.
Oh, damn. Okay. Sneaky sounds, dude. And okay, I'll quick mention this right now. If it's too late for you, have a good night. Anyway, let's kind of go back to it's Anthem. So it looks good in the gameplay and all that, right? And that's what I think is more important. Like if you are gonna enjoy that type of game and you like it, like you should still, I guess, like buy the game and support like your own enjoyment as a consumer more, and just not support the publisher by, for example, not buying microtransactions.
Yeah, I think that's the way it should be done. The less you support it, then they'll kind of start to get the message that it's not something that people want.
Yeah.
However, you do have those whales that, end up spending thousands of dollars on microtransactions, and that's what really keeps them putting it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the part that is going to be hard as consumers to do, because what I encourage is still to like make your decision not based on the game. Be like, hey, does this look fun to you? Are you going to have fun? If so, yes, buy the game. If not, don't buy the game. And then after that, then you go forward, because that's how I feel like, even though the money is kind of being distributed between them, the publisher does definitely squeeze more money, like regardless of where it is, not just EA, but like a publisher will squeeze out more money from microtransactions than the initial purchase of the game. So that's why I argue that, like, hey, make your decision based on the game. If you're going to enjoy it, there you go, buy the game. Then, all the microtransactions, if you don't feel like the publisher's good, like, for example, of EA, like, I have zero plans to get any microtransactions in Anthem at all. But I do want to purchase the game and play it because it looks like hella fun,
Right.
And that's just like a big example of what's coming up. Let's say even, I highly doubt this will be a thing, by the way, but with Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't think it's gonna have microtransactions.
Oh no, I would hope not.
But what if there is? What if there are some costumes that you don't find in the world, but instead you bought? Would you do it?
Not Kingdom Hearts.
See, I'm taking it because a lot of people love that IP, and I'm switching it up.
Who's the publisher for?
Oh, the publisher for Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah,
I don't know off the top of my head, actually. Anna, do you know?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
The publisher for Kingdom Hearts 3?
Square Enix, maybe?
I think it's Square Enix. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because again, I don't think they'll do it. But like, what would you do? Would you buy these cosmetics if it was like something really cool for Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, it's Square Enix.
It is, yes.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't, but I'm not a diehard Kingdom Hearts fan. I'm sure there are some people that are into Kingdom Hearts enough and into collecting everything enough that they would buy it, but personally, I think microtransactions in a game like Kingdom Hearts is just hope it doesn't happen, really.
Yep. And I will read a point that Serrano gave again. So nowadays I wait for a bit before buying games, sadly. Afraid of it being bad or not what I expected. Wait for reviews for friends or without unless it's a franchise I really like, which you know is a good point, and it's definitely what I usually do. Now I do have a slightly different process because and here's something that you can kind of chime in on, Eric, because you don't do any usual form of social media,
Right.
but for me as a streamer, I have an extra step to consider. It's not just my personal enjoyment. Is like, oh, will it be good for the people that normally watch me? Is it gonna be good for a different audience? Will I be able to play more of this game, or is this something that's gonna be much shorter for everybody? Like, you put those into the expectation and into the table, and that's what changes Anthem for me. Because if I wasn't streaming, I'd look at Anthem and be like, oh my god, it looks really hype, I really want to get it, but I'm gonna wait for reviews and friends and all that stuff.
Which is what I'm planning on doing most likely.
Yeah.
But for you, I totally understand. That makes sense.
Yeah. However, because it's a whole new area, and it's in a slot of a game that I really like playing, it is a potential place where I'm like, wow, I could bring in new people that want to see gameplay of that, and still enjoy it myself.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I could, like, I guess, flop and be like, I didn't enjoy it, because that happened for me with Fallout 76.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good recent example.
Yeah, I tried it for a stream. Like, I don't really want it, but it seems like a couple of other streamers and all that stuff is playing. I'm gonna give it a try. I did it for one stream. It was absolutely garbage. I went back to playing Fallout 4.
Rip.
But it's a good example of, like, okay, and then it flopped. So I'm like, I'm not as opposed to someone that has, like, just like a normal amount of money to invest into something, like a new game every, let's say, 2 weeks to a month, depending. Like, that's not too much, to be honest.
Yeah.
But if you're someone with, like, less money to spend on your entertainment after the Netflix and Hulu subscriptions, Crunchyroll,
Exactly.
then that would be more of a serious purchase. Be something more to consider.
Right. Thankfully, I haven't haven't fallen prey to a Fallout 76 situation, or like The Division, which is another game that I was kind of excited for after seeing the trailers that ended up sort of flopping.
And that's also the thing too, is they might flop and also come back.
That is also true.
It's always the
No Man's Sky
updates.
kind of situation.
Yeah. So No Man's Sky. Yep. Flopped at probably one of the biggest flops in gaming history, honestly.
Yeah, probably. I can't think of anything that would top it.
Yeah, and there might have been something maybe more retro that we can't think of, or no.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but in recent times, definitely No Man's Sky was the biggest. And then after 2 years, they did an update where it's like, oh wow, here's the game that we sort of promised, and I can't say it's a great game, but it's good enough. It's like, all right, it's now all right.
No longer as much of a disappointment.
It's probably worth the $30 on sale, basically.
Right.
And that happened with Destiny. It took them a year to make Forsaken and make it a good game. And it happened with oh god, it was another one that did bad. I had it on top of my head, but I forgot.
Was Destiny not very well received at the beginning?
Destiny 2 was the one that was not at all. Like, on release, it had a lot of, like, bad reviews and everything. And a lot of people gave up, but then after Forsaken came out, it was all hype and actually big changes for the better. Yeah. But those are, like, two very big examples. Like, yes, it might flop and it might get better, and that's why you kind of want to stay in the radar of things. Like, everything is just so ever changing. And then there's also the examples of a sad or a sad example where it's for example, Titanfall 2, okay, that has very good mechanics, very good parkour, pretty amazing game. But then the player base died because it didn't have much like marketing or anything like outside of it.
Right, I've only ever heard good things about the game, so
Yeah, and it's hard. It's also even the same with Paragon. I keep mentioning it because Paragon.
yeah, that is true.
Yeah, it was a great like MOBA. It was a little bit different than all of the things in the genre, but because it's so dominated by League and Dota, it just never took off. And then Fortnite did instead, and the team at Epic Games just kind of had to drive the project.
Yeah, rest in peace, Paragon.
Yeah, well, one of those things. Yeah, do you guys have any other like kind of thoughts around this while I try to read up with chat?
No, not really.
Yeah, I think you covered it.
Yeah, you covered everything, and everything that you've said I agree with 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, hey, I mean,
dang, do I need to like bring up more like controversial topics to the table?
I guess so.
All right, I mean, let's
arguments,
take
Kevin.
let's take a quick pause here. It's probably a good
Piss me off.
pausing moment and be like, all right,
Let's
what's a
get
controversial?
political.
No.
No,
Controversial
not this podcast.
topic without politics. Thank you very much. How about boy, I mean, I've done the sandwich, and we've done the pineapple on pizza so many times, right? We can't do any of those.
The sandwich.
How
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about
with the sandwich?
how
Is
about
is a hot dog a sandwich type thing?
yes? How about like literally 3 biggest arguments that I have pretty much like every month. Is blank a sandwich? Do you eat pineapple on pizza? And are traps gay? That is it is the 3 discussions that never leave. So we
man.
can't do that.
So, before we move on from this, though, I do want to give my opinions. I don't think a
Yeah,
hot
go
dog is a sandwich. A hot dog is a hot dog. I don't like pineapple on pizza, but I don't care what other people do. And the R Trap's gay. I have no input on that whatsoever.
Pretty much same boat. Hot dog, not a sandwich.
You're fueling me. I'm like, I want to move on, but I can't.
Kevin brings this up as a joke example of something that we could talk about, and here we are about to get.
And
caught
of
up on.
course, we are about to, because you can't just like quickly like, I'm gonna give my opinions and like not have everyone else give theirs. Anna.
Now I'm seeing Kevin's face on the stream. And it's
The
great.
instigator. Okay, I'll actually catch up with chat in just a second, but okay, so listen, hot dog is technically a sandwich. I will say that, because a sandwich to me is any 2 types of carbohydrates, as it's usually a type of bread, and then anything in between. You smush anything in between 2 breads, it is a sandwich.
See, but a hot dog bun is one bread
Yes.
with a fold in the middle of it.
I don't
And
know
that's
about
why-
you guys.
Not
I
two distinct
always
breads.
cut my bread in the.
And
In
that's
the
why
You
I-
cut your hot dog buns?
Why?
Yeah.
It falls out.
Wait,
the
what?
bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you ever want to do that?
What do you?
Then you have to like.
What do you
squeeze
put
it.
in the
You
hot
can't just hold
dog?
it from the bottom. You gotta like squeeze it to keep the hot dog from falling out of it.
I mean, you have to do that to anyone. Also, how thick are your hot dogs? Mine usually they're not that long. You still like cut it because like it annoys me that it's like bread. Like you don't eat it like down the bottom. I want to eat it like as a normal sandwich. So you eat it while it's together. See, that's what's weird. I guess I eat hot dogs weird,
Maybe.
and so I see it as a sandwich.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The reason I don't see it as a sandwich is because the hot dog bun is one whole thing.
True.
Because a hot dog is a hot dog. It's not a sandwich to me.
Like if you're sitting in a car, like a row, 3 across, and 2 people are on either side of you, then you'd say you're sandwiched in between them because there's 2 distinct people on either side. With a hot dog bun, it's like if somebody gives you a hug, are you being sandwiched by them?
Yes.
Yeah. Is hamburger sandwich?
All right.
Yes, 100%. They're all.
See, a hamburger, I could say.
My
you could
whole
get more
point
towards
is that
sandwich territory.
the sandwich
hamburger is a
is the
Yeah.
general like pot like on top of the pyramid, and everything else is a subsection. Like that's it.
Welcome everybody to Sandwiches, the podcast.
I mean, you're gonna give a pause. It might as well be this.
That's fair.
That should be the title, Games and Sandwiches.
It's a good title.
Games, sandwiches, and how to make it. I might as well fucking divulge my sandwich recipe here because I have Ian can vouch for this. Probably one of the best sandwiches that I've made. And I'll tell the recipe. But let's see. Everyone was saying that Zelda changed release dates so much, and we'll say a year later each time ended up being one of the bests. Yeah. That was also one because Zelda kept being delayed, like Breath of the Wild, and then ended up being one of the best release games of the year. Yeah, and I'm definitely down for that, because Nintendo's an exception, because you can say all you want about Nintendo not knowing much marketing, but they've been a actual toy production company since 1880 something. I think
it was playing cards that they started out with.
Yeah, exactly. They're a really old company, and they've been doing kind of the focus on games for so long. So when they move on to video games, you can't match the level of Nintendo creativity and level design. Well, I mean, some indie studios get, but other AAA studios, you can't do what Nintendo does.
True.
So that's why I think when they can just simply we just don't think the game is ready. We're just gonna wait. And when they wait and they actually release it, there you go. It's proof. No publisher that's for AAA title wants to do that. Do you think they're gonna delay an Assassin's Creed, when it's dead set on releasing in a year,
right.
to be
or
delayed for not even a month? That's never happening. Why? So they can pump out the next one. Because they don't give a shit about one game being really good. They want to have quantity. And that's why, even with that amount of, quantity, that's why you get, some being oh, this one was slightly better. Is because, I guess, with whatever happened to the office, just in a matter of quantity, you'll get one that'll be oh, this one's a little bit better than the other one. But are they truly any, very amazing? I don't think so.
True.
And our zebras with black stripes or black with white stripes. Oh boy.
They're white with black stripes.
Oh no.
No, Anna, this one's a paradox. Please don't give an answer like that.
I don't think it is a paradox.
They're white with black
There's one
stripes.
looked at as an answer.
Because there's both. It doesn't matter. It's both. It's the same thing with GIFs and GIFs. They're pronounced either way.
GIF.
I will say GIFs, but they're pronounced either way.
I pronounce it Gorf.
Now that's just wrong. Get out of here.
Whoa.
Banished.
You can't just say it's GIF or GIF and then say my pronunciation is wrong. Come on now.
But I said either from both.
If you can say GIF
Okay.
or GIF, then I'm allowed to say Gorf and have it be completely correct. Come on now.
Preach to the wrong choir here.
Ooh, but also on the topic of delaying games and making sure they're good, quality over quantity, and in the looter shooter genre, Borderlands 3 is one that I'm very excited for, that I've been waiting for a very long time.
Yep.
Considering the last title came out back in 2012, I believe.
Yeah, and it's still it's not strong. It just has a community that still loves it, and for good reason.
Right.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about this in one of the other episodes, but Borderlands 2, the reason why there's also been like a little bit of delays because they had a team working on the VR version for it, which is out, I think, by now.
Yeah, it's
PS4.
It's out on PS4. I believe it released pretty recently.
But yeah, they don't have a PC port yet, which is why I'm like sad because, you know, PS4 does need, I guess, some competition, which is good in that way. You know, they weren't exclusive to sell it, but
True.
you know, I just think the other VR systems of the Oculus and HTC Vive are better.
Yeah,
in that
exactly.
term.
Non-PlayStation proprietary
but
VR
yeah,
systems.
It does seem though like a probably the biggest title that, like, if they do it right, because I haven't seen any, you know, gameplay like myself, so I can't speak for it. But if they
There is
pull that
none,
off,
really. That's the thing.
huh?
I said that's the thing. There isn't really any gameplay, or unless you're talking about Borderlands 2 VR.
Yeah, VR. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about
because in that market, you know, like for example, like I bought a VR set for Beat Saber. I'm pretty sure many people bought one for Beat Saber.
I don't blame them. If I bought a VR set for anything, it'd be for Beat Saber.
Yeah, it's really like that good. You know, people really make like and I did it even with other coworkers that have talked about it. It's like, yeah, you know, you just like really feeling it. You get home, you play like a few hours of Beat Saber. You get a, like, you know, a minor workout, and not anything major, but you get a minor workout
Yeah, I was
with a
about to say,
huge.
probably more than minor, honestly, if you're playing hours of Beat Saber.
No, I mean, it also depends on your intensity and everything. Like, if you're doing like a regular thing where eventually you get to like expert and extra plus levels, and you're doing it for like, let's say like 2 hours every day, like it is kind of like a medium workout, I'd say. I don't know, but you know, you're still like, you're spending quite a bit of energy with doing something that has just an exponential more amount of fun. Like, would you rather fucking go on a treadmill for half an hour or play 2 hours of Beat Saber on expert plus?
Exactly.
Right? Like, yeah, okay, it's more time, but like it's extremely way more fun.
Beat Saber on a treadmill.
I'm gonna do it.
Please do.
Oh my god. I mean, I think that's possible.
Make it possible. Kevin, if your next stream isn't Beat Saber on a treadmill, I'm unsubscribing.
Oh, if only I had a treadmill.
Dang.
No, like, oh my god. I mean, yeah,
Get some roller
technically-
skates and kind of run in place.
Because-
hold on to like a bar.
Yeah, because you can still see the guardian system. So if you set it up in a way where it's like, oh shit, I'm too slow, I'm gonna fall off the treadmill, and you stay on it trying to do the, oh my god, dude, let's patent this idea so that when all of us can make a video game office / company thing, we'll make a room just for VR and we'll have a treadmill in there. How about that?
Perfect.
Works for me.
There you go. All right, yeah. So yeah, now we can talk Dead again. We'll and some others. We'll make a big Twitch team, and then we'll get an office together, just like Rooster Teeth.
Sounds good. We're doing it.
Listen, 5-year plan, okay, Anna? 5-year plan.
What's the name of the Twitch conglomerate then?
Oh, I don't. Listen, that's a 1-year plan.
That's fair.
Okay, so let's see. Let me remember what switch my notes at because I kind of missed it. Is that FF15 had so many plot holes, really didn't like it, and then explained some of those with the DLCs. So they released an incomplete game. DLCs should bring new things to the extension of the game, not try to explain the game. Yeah, that was another point, like to kind of go ahead with Destiny, because that's the same thing. You know, you felt like the story didn't finish when he did the base game. They released like 2 DLCs, which were pretty weak. And then the third one, you know, properly, I guess, finished the story. It's still open-ended, you know, for like possibly Destiny 3. But yeah, like same idea where like, okay, well, they clearly had a plan. They didn't finish it. They finished it afterwards. And then after it got sold, you know, screwed people over, etc. And it wasn't that great, to go along with the same like FF15 example. It's kind of funny because I talked to this over dinner just now that I came back from with my friends. It's just really great to hear that come back up. But But yeah, it's kind of the same idea there where, yeah, they kind of screwed you over. If they had done the main game plan, great, yes. Because they should always be, like, extra content. You know, maybe they have a plot line and a plan for it, but it should be an extension of the universe. Like, you know, now we're going to go back a little bit. I'm going to talk about my biggest, and I mean, I'm together with a lot of people on this, like, flops was back in Mass Effect 3. And I'm not talking about the game itself. I enjoy the gameplay of Mass Effect 3. I have a lot of fun with that game. But it was just the ending. Because Mass Effect, the entire series, is all about making your different choices, meeting your people, trying to make sure they survive, playing your own story. And to have, like, that all not matter, to just be like, here's a neutral answer, here's a, evil answer, here's a good answer, of which none of you explain anything or have any sort of afterthought or even cutscene. It's all the same shit. Like, I love the Mass Effect universe, so what I wanted was to simply see, like, some of the characters. Like, give me a cutscene where Talia was, like, back home with her fucking parents if she lived. And if she died, then you just go to, like, a grave site and visit her or some stuff like that. Like, a continuation. I feel like that's what else a lot of people miss with that those types of games. And you see people stream DDR and they're moving around far from the camera. Nothing wrong with the treadmill streaming.
See, he's on board.
Already on board. Okay. I see. Not that bad of an idea, guys. Wonderful. Alright, so to kind of go backtrack a little bit, since we're already at 48 minutes in, so back to Bungie and Activision. Activision actually, like, literally the day after it was announced from their split, Activision is already under investigation for fraud.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, it's which is just kind of like the icing on the cake, to be honest. There's not too much to go into this because it's still, like, an investigation, but the fact that it's like, okay, like, now we're split, and, like, also, by the way, our investigation for fraud is just, wow, you already had a bad reputation, now you're just, like, that's all I really had to say about that. Just be like, yep.
More controversy on top of their already bad image.
Yep. And if they didn't like the good bad ending, just change the color of the beam. Yes. Yes, just change the color. The color palette. Let's see. I think. So we talked about data social and consumer ethics. Yeah, a little bit of an extension of the company ethics is League is going further from their plan of, like, loot boxes with the heck boxes and all that stuff, and making prestige skins. Now,
yeah.
Do you know what those are?
No.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, I know those. But you do. Okay, do you want to explain it, Eric?
Yeah. So skins in League of Legends, they added, like, a couple years back, what are called chromas, which are just, like, recolored variations of skins, skins that you already have to pay for with, like, their premium currency. And so it's just, like, a way of recoloring it. And prestige editions of the skins are similar to, like, the chromas, except they're supposed to be a lot harder to get, a lot more difficult to obtain. And originally, with some of the the earliest prestige skin, you could unlock, like, tokens through, like, missions that you could complete in game in order to unlock the prestige edition. So you really have to, like, work towards it, and it's, like, something that's supposed to be rare, like some sort of achievement. And recently, the whole controversy surrounding it is the most recent of the prestige skins, of which they've added, like, I don't even know, like, 3 more since originally announcing that they're supposed to be something that's rare, few and far between. Now with the most recent Prestige edition of the skins, it's like fully you have to pay for it. Like it's not going to be just like a cheap, like you can complete a bunch of missions. It's you have to pay for a bunch of different tokens, and it's like upwards like of $100. So instead of making it an achievement, it's now just something you have to shell out a bunch of cash for, which is no bueno.
Yeah. And that's what kind of brings in more of the controversy there, because when they did chromas, I'm still okay with that, because it's just like, okay, well, you really like a skin, here's different colors for that skin.
Exactly.
You have to pay
Chromas
more,
are a great idea.
but yeah, that's okay. It's cosmetic, it's fair, more power to you.
Right.
But when you release a prestige skin, like prestige on itself is supposed to be something that you have earned. Like that was back in the lessons of the Call of Duties. Prestige was earned by your play time.
Exactly.
So if you're gonna name something a prestige skin that you earn by spending the most amount of money instead of the people that are playing your game, that is just
exactly
not good at all. Like, name them, make a new category from an epic skin to Moneybag skin or some fucking thing like that. Because, okay, great, yeah, you just want to show off that you have money and have a pretty skin to go with it. I'd be okay with that as well if it just wasn't named the prestige skin. Because, their whole goal with their sales are like, oh, we want to, reward like these the players, and it's supposed to be prestige. Like, well, you're not doing it.
Exactly. Well, which is what it was at the beginning, and then they took the turn because the original prestige skin, which was like Kaisa or somebody, it was super duper successful, super duper popular. Tons of people bought like the mission pass thing or whatever, which you needed to complete to get the prestige skin, and it was so successful that they just immediately released a prestige skin less than a month afterwards, which were supposed to be supposedly few and far between, which is what they said with their original announcement. And so they've definitely just kind of diverted from that, and now it's become just pay $1 million for prestige skins.
Yeah, and that's
so they had the right idea in the first place, and then they just kind of diverged from that.
and that's really sucky. Like, I honestly, the one thing I do hate is the mission passes. Because the mission passes is it's literally you're buying money to then be forced to play the game or else lose complete value at all.
I mean it's just another version of like for example the battle pass from Fortnite or something like that, it's a similar mechanic. You pay and then you unlock extra bonus missions that you can choose to complete or not. That you get just bonus cosmetics.
But if that was constant, like you just buy one and okay, now forever you're gonna have bonus missions for you to earn stuff, I'd be okay. It's the same as an MMO if you buy a premium, I guess, subscription to it. But to make it single purchases where it's okay, well, for this amount of time in this event, complete these for sure, or just not get the value of what you pay for it. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that myself.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's understandable.
I know they do give you the other 10 million fucking versions of a chest that you can buy at different rates, but it just seems like if you're gonna give the missions, just give the missions for free during the event. Wow, I don't get it. And the thing with the chromas, Lainey, yes, you did have certain windows of time when a chroma was made that you could buy it with IP, or now the blue essence.
Yeah.
However,
they still do that.
Yeah, they still do that, but they don't. For me, even when I was really into the news, they don't give you any warning. It's you have to check in and just see, because they're yeah, we scheduled it, but it's in their post from 3 months ago. They don't give you oh, by the way, these are now worth from IP. Oh, featured, by the way, these are now IP for right now. It's just you either check it or you miss it, and it's only for IP for 3 days. So you could easily miss it. Like, I caught it the first time around, never again. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be fair for them to be like, say that, but at least maybe have it like on a homepage, like even on the fucking website, you know, something. It doesn't need to be on the featured page, because I get it, they lose money, but
I mean, it usually is on the website.
Yeah.
It's just not like in big letters, hey, Chronos for Blue Essence. It's under like a different title, like unlocking the what's it called? Legacy Vault or whatever they call it.
Yeah, but I mean, even with Legacy Vaults, they definitely give you like warning. Like, Warframe is always on top of the main website of like giving you like, hey, these are back in. They give you like a week notice, like, hey, these are gonna be coming back soon. Hey, this is leaving soon. And then another big announcement with it. So I don't know. They just, I feel like they haven't notified enough.
That's fair.
That's my own criticism. Okay, so. Oh, and with the fraud, also, it's an question, is that the fraud was from Activision was within the company. It wasn't to like other games. It's fraud within like internally that they're investigating. We don't know anything yet. They're still under investigation. It's been very recently. And I think since we're reaching near the end of the episode, do we want to just go back to the other arguments that we had?
Sure, let's go for it.
Okay, so
I'm ready to destroy friendships.
Pineapple on pizza.
Oh, we're playing Mario Kart?
I think it's a very fast one.
Pineapple on pizza? Yeah. It's a no. No for me.
It's a no for me, but if other people want to do it, that's up to them. Just don't try and make me eat it.
True. It's not so much pineapple being on pizza for me as it is I just don't like pineapple, so.
That's valid.
Yeah.
See, okay,
I like pineapple, just not on pizza. I don't feel like the flavors really mesh well, but...
So see, then we have all the different spectrums here. So we have, like, I just don't like pineapple, so therefore I don't like pineapple on pizza.
Right.
Very fair point. And we have Anna on the wrong side of the coin with
damn,
pineapple I do like, but not on pizza. And then you have me where I'm saying, hey, pineapple is delicious, and it goes well on pizza. However, I will give the caveat that it has to pretty much be Hawaiian pizza or any other like small bits of flavors, because it goes well with that. But I don't think it goes in like any pizza. Like, you can't put like pineapple with sausage on a pizza and make it seem good, because that seems absolutely terrible to me.
You never know, that could be like the best combo.
As someone that already doesn't like pineapple.
No, I'm not saying I would like it. I'm saying, hey, you're bashing on it. You're over here saying, no, this combo's not good, and you're giving Anna shit for it. Here you are.
The only problem that I have with what you just said is the fact that you called me wrong, because I'm over here saying I don't personally like it, but if other people want to, that's up to them. I'm not telling them that they're wrong, but you resorted to personal attack when I never attacked anybody.
But that's the whole point of these arguments.
To shit on each other? Damn, I didn't realize.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
My bad. I've been going
you
about
get
this all
like
wrong.
You just said, like, to ruin friendships. How do you not expect to be like, I used my +4 on you, Anna? Come on, you gotta you got a +4 back. You can't just like be like, well, I dare say, I am
you're an idiot.
very frankly
You're wrong.
offended.
You're stupid. Pineapple's gross, especially on pizza.
Yeah, see, there we go.
Perfect.
And I countered that SpongeBob was one of the greatest cartoons of all time, and he lives in a pineapple.
Yeah, but his pineapple's not on a pizza, so.
But he makes the Krusty Krab pizza. What do you think is the secret ingredient?
Not pineapple.
God damn it.
You only made the Krusty Krab pizza the one time. That's
yeah,
not
it was the best pizza for you and me.
Yeah, but their service is shit. They forgot his Diet Dr. Kelp.
Yeah, true. Krusty Krab has no credibility, especially when it comes to pizza.
Oh my god.
So if you want to put, if you want to somehow shoehorn pineapple being on the Krusty Krab pizza as canon, then feel free, because it's not a legitimate service.
I mean, listen, you know, the pineapple for SpongeBob's house, you know, does have a huge chunk on it because it's hollow. So obviously, the pineapple went somewhere, and I argue that it went on the Krusty Krab pizza.
All of it? That's a really big pineapple, and that was a
Yeah,
really
true.
small pizza.
Also, putting part of your house onto a pizza just
But
doesn't sound
that's
good.
how
That's
you
like us
get.
making a drywall
It's a
pizza.
really
Like,
close textured pineapple.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's dude, don't worry. It's exactly that. Do not worry. Okay,
I don't believe
well, do you have any closing statements for the podcast?
Pineapple does not go on pizza, at least for me.
Seconded. Kevin's wrong. Closing statement.
What is Kevin is wrong for 300 points?
Thank you, Trebek.
Okay. Fair. I don't have any much major closing statements other than to just do your own research on Anthem and see if you like it, I guess, because I'm excited for it.
I probably won't play it myself because it's not the type of game that I normally do, but I'm excited to watch other people play it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to tune into your stream and watch it, and decide from there once it's fully released. See some reviews, some gameplay. But it does look interesting. I do like the aesthetics. I think it looks very cool.
All right. I think then with that, we'll close it off. So I've been Kevin, or King Khada. You can find me over on Twitch and other social medias. And we have Anna.
Hello. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at The Cuddly. Mostly Twitter and Twitch, though.
And
Sometimes
of course,
Instagram.
And I'm Eric, aka Swift, and you can't find me anywhere, so don't bother.
except for our Discord.
Yep, true.
All right. That was it. And
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thank you for joining our 7th virtual Solstice podcast. And we'll see everyone next time.
Bye.
Bye.